Good morning, everyone. It's morning where I am anyway, and it's morning where my guest is, Mr. Josh Block, who's the president of Block Imaging, a famous and well-known company. You can't be in healthcare and not know Block Imaging nowadays. Josh, welcome.
Thank you very much. It's good to be here.
So, Josh, the first thing I'd like to ask you, since I knew your father, how's your father doing? Are you keeping him out of harm's way?
Yeah, he's well out of harm's way. He right now, I think I didn't count before we talked, but he's north of 20 grandkids or somewhere up near 20 grandkids from 1 year old to 22 or 23 years old. He's now a great grandparent. So that just happened in the last couple of months. And so, yeah, he's doing very well.
So, send our regards to him, please. How, how is Block Imaging dealing with the coronavirus?
Yeah, it's what an extraordinary time to be a leader and in the healthcare space. And so for us, certain businesses, we've had an opportunity to really be helpful. So when it gets into the ventilator space and the portable X-ray space, in the CT scanner and in the mobile spaces, we're able to actually step up and play a really key part in supplying the supply chain of healthcare. And then you have some other businesses in areas like in surgery centers and any elective procedure areas where we haven't been, we've only been providing service for machines. The parts business, obviously, there's been a lot of need for urgent care as well. But yeah, it's across the board as we look at both the domestic and the international spaces.
So how about inside your company? Are you social distancing? What sort of precautions? Are people in the office, not in the office, in the factory? What's going on?
Yeah, so for us, over the course of March, we began moving our team who could complete their roles from remotely from home. We shifted about 80% of our staff to working from home, and yet the remainder of our team in the technical spaces, so in our parts harvesting, parts testing, engineering, refurb, mechanical, cosmetic, all of those folks continued working out of headquarters through about June 15th. And then we've pretty much have most of our staff is back in the facility at this point as of the middle of June. And we have a whole list of things that are being done to try to protect both our team and the organization by partitioning off areas of the office, having some common spaces, closing off conference rooms, and moving meetings far more frequently to virtual. So those are a few of the steps, and there are quite a few more to help us continue to operate as a team from this facility, and yet also protect our team and the organization as well.
What about the economy? When you look in your crystal ball, and what's your feeling about where the economy is going to go in the next 6 months and 12 months?
Yeah, obviously some of this is going to be a factor of how the government continues to prop up an economy, right? And so that's what has been at play over the last several months. Is we have stimulus packages that are allowing people to continue floating an economy, allowing to continue to work at home and be on unemployment and those sorts of things. And so, yeah, the economy, we're gonna see. I mean, in some regard, how much does the government continue to stimulate an economy, and then what does it look like to get off on our own 2 feet again in the fall? And so, yeah, there are certain areas that are doing well, certain areas of the country that are doing well, and yet, yeah, what a time we're in to see such closures across, especially as we move into the summer, tourism and restaurant businesses and all those sorts of spaces. Yeah, it's a difficult time, and yet I'm thankful for where we are and on quote unquote the other side of the pandemic. Obviously, we don't totally know what side we're on, but we are seeing an economy move back into full swing as of mid-June.
And do you believe that we'll experience inflation in the coming months?
Months is maybe a shorter term lens, but it's pretty difficult to print trillions of dollars of money and not have inflationary impact over the next. I wouldn't have thought of it in months. I would have thought of it a little bit more in the decade to come, for sure.
And how will healthcare how will the healthcare delivery system be impacted by that sort of inflation, do you think?
Well, in the near term, there is going to be an impact on just the loss of revenue within healthcare. So early on, the goal with COVID was to protect healthcare, right? Was to not overwhelm our healthcare system, and yet we quickly found that the healthcare system was robust enough, and yet the loss of all of those elective procedures, those elective scans, many hospitals in America were forced to lay off people. So I think it's going to be a financial crisis, perhaps more than an inflationary one, for the hospitals as they look at what they projected to generate in 2020 and what they actually will, other than for facilities that are quote unquote bailed out and were high dense areas in terms of COVID. For the rest of the country, I don't really think it's going to be an inflationary issue as much as it's going to be a dollars and cents issue, just having lost so much revenue from March to probably September, October, and who knows beyond that.
Do you have any, do you see any positive takeaways from the experience we've had over the last few months?
Yeah, again, when you're talking across the globe, there are a lot of impact points. I would say positive. It has interrupted life and made us think about what's most important. When I think about the speed of life, one of the things that is a huge takeaway and change is sports, and just what a significant part sports play in life in America especially. And just seeing that shift of parents running around kids on practices and all of those sorts of things on weekends. That's really where I go. It's just a lifestyle of America, and somewhat what has happened when we've all been forced to slow down. Some people who aren't particularly happy, and other people who it's been a great learning experience.
Well, obviously you've given a lot of thought to this, and you're a very insightful guy. Keep up the good work. I appreciate you spending time with us today, and I thank you for your time.